I don't just talk about other people's stuff, I also make my own. Books in particular. To date, I have 4 books you can check out on Amazon. Operation Red Dragon: The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, Occult Mafia, Emerald of Maddox City, and the short story collection Assorted Absurdities, Tales of Kaiju Punk and Other Genres. Hop on down to the description for Amazon links to all 4 books. Enjoy whichever ones you read, and enjoy the video.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Omni viewer, and I've noticed something going around regarding the new designs for GAMERA REBIRTH that I thought I'd discuss here. As you know, Jiger is going to be one of the monsters brought back for this series, and Jiger has gotten a new redesign that is not limited by the bounds of suitmation, and looks like this. This is the Bandai Vinyl Movie Monster series figure, of course. Now, what I've seen a lot of people saying is that they think this design looks an awful lot like Nezura, seen here. And if we put them side by side, we can see a few similarities, what with the horns and tusks on the head, and the spines on the back, and the sort of reddish-purpley color scheme. There is a similarity, it's true. But does that mean there is a direct influence, or is it just a coincidence? Well, I think the answer is something in the vein of kind of yes, there might be an influence, but it's not necessarily what you think. You see, I actually reviewed the movie Nezura 1964, which, if you haven't seen it yet, you should. There are links. Go follow them and watch that video. See, here's how it goes. Back in the 1960s, Dai Studios had the idea to get in on the whole kaiju eiga market and compete with Godzilla and Toho by making their own movie called Giant Horde Beast Nezura, which would have been realized using real-life rats on a scaled city set. The rats would have been the primary Nezura creatures, and based on material that survives from the time, there would have been a second variant that could fly, known as the Nezubat. Now, the movie didn't wind up happening because the production was shut down due to health problems. Watch the Nezura 1964 video for the full story. But anyway, the point is, Nezura didn't wind up happening, so Dai went and made Gamera instead, and the Gamera series would continue and eventually introduce Jiger in Gamera vs. Jiger. Decades would pass until the 21st century, in which 3Y Entertainment, an independent company, would make the movie Nezura 1964, a movie about the making of that film, Giant Horde Beast Nezura, and its ultimate failure and dissolution. For that film, they never mentioned the bat variant during the synopsis of the film, but they do introduce a creature that wound up being featured heavily in the promotions. This hideous thing known as Mammoth Nezura. And, as mentioned, Mammoth Nezura has features that you could say are similar to Jiger's, and that might have been intentional because this was a film about a Dai production. Dai made the Gamera series with Jiger in it, so that might have been a deliberate homage. At this point, I have not been able to find any information that says that was deliberate. Maybe I just missed it, or maybe no one's actually said it yet. But at this point, the influence could be coincidence, or it could be deliberate. And of course, Mammoth Nezura gets itself ingrained in the kaiju fandom as more people notice this production, and eventually we get to Gamera Rebirth, which brings Jiger back, and naturally is going to incorporate the features that are original to Jiger, but since it's animation, they're going to be exaggerated, and there are going to be people who compare it to Nezura. Again, I cannot find anything to suggest that this was intentional or not, but given the history of it all, I have a feeling that at the very least Mammoth Nezura might have been inspired by Jiger, but then again, Jiger would never have existed had the production for Nezura gone forward and not been shut down, but Nezura only existed as competition for Godzilla, and Godzilla was partly inspired by the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which was itself partially based on a short story by Ray Bradbury, which means Gamera Rebirth was actually made by Ray Bradbury this whole time. I feel like whatever point I was trying to make in this video has now been completely lost, so I'm just going to call it here and say sorry for wasting your time. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni viewer signing off.
Congratulations, you reached the end. If you enjoyed this video, you might want to consider supporting us on Patreon. Of course, the other way to support us is to go to Amazon and check out our books, Operation Red Dragon, The Daikaiju Wars Part 1, The Occult Mafia, Emerald of Maddox City, and Assorted Absurdities, Tales of Kaiju Punk and Other Genres. Also check the description for links to DeviantArt and other platforms we operate. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.